It didn't start with fear. It started with boredom, the flat kind that lies across your chest and convinces you to go live again, even when no one asked. Same chair, same wall, same light I never fix because the flicker looks better on camera than honesty does in a room. "Hey chat," I said, though chat was 3 usernames and a botted heart icon that pulsed like a fish. Mic check. The delay did its usual dance. I heard myself 2 seconds later, inside my headset, a harmless echo you stop noticing when you've been talking to strangers long enough. Only this time, the echo smiled. I swear a smile can live inside a sound when you know your own voice. The laughter that followed wasn't mine. It clipped at the edges like it had teeth. I muted everything. OBS, mixer, windows. The room went quiet enough that I could hear the fan in my tower write its little diary of dust. No playback, no bleed, just me, and the small red eye of the webcam staring like a pupil that forgot how to dilate. Someone typed, "Behind you." I glanced at the wall behind my shoulder. Grey paint, a scuff where the chair had kissed it too hard, a nail that never found a frame. Nothing. I smiled anyway, the hostage kind. Nice try. The chat bloomed. "Bro," he blinked. "Do it again. Say your name." I flipped the scene to a full screen cam and dragged the window wider. The exposure slid, and the room looked fake enough to pass for clean. My own face stared back, tired mouth, last week's stubble, the slight lean forward you get when you live online. Then I saw it, the thing the room didn't have but the camera did. A darker wedge of space over my left shoulder, the suggestion of a head where no head belonged. Not a shadow, a decision. I killed the stream. When you live like this, ending a stream feels like hanging up on a ghost. The silence that follows is not peace, it's what the ocean sounds like inside a shell. I made the video private, not delete, never delete. The future is a courtroom, and proof is oxygen. I waited. I told myself to stand up, drink water, stop pretending this room was a stage. 5 minutes later, my phone buzzed. "Your live stream is starting soon." No app listed. Just the sentence, clean as a threat that pays for dinner first. I wasn't streaming. I opened the link anyway. It took me to a page I didn't recognize. No chat, no overlay, no branding, just a player. It showed my room from my camera at that moment. The chair was empty. The wall was politely gray. And then I walked in. Only I didn't. The me on the screen wore my hoodie and stood where my body would have, but the smile was wrong. It was the kind you practice in the reflection of a train window, the one other people never see because they're busy being themselves. He leaned into the mic like he already knew what I would say and said, "Hey chat, can you hear me?" 2 seconds later, the echo answered, "I can hear you," and then he kept speaking. "Say your name." I didn't move. The only noise in the real room was the tower fan, faithful as a dog that thinks whining equals help. The me on the screen whispered my full name the way a priest whispers a secret, like it's not for you anymore. The screen went black. The light on my webcam stayed on. You know that threadbare fear you keep ready for when a smoke alarm chirps at 3 a.m.? It unspooled in me. I reached for the USB cable and pulled. The camera went dark. The room got heavier, and for a second I thought that weight was relief. Then the red light came back, not from the camera on the monitor, the tiny one in the keyboard. I unplugged the PC from the wall. Everything died except the red light. Batteries, I thought. Some keyboard have batteries. Some nightmares do too. I don't know when I started talking to you, the way some people talk to a hallway when they're sure someone else is in it. But if you've ever paused a horror video to check whether your own webcam light is on, you know the exact size of breath that fit my chest then. The voice returned, not through speakers, not through plastic. It came from the room itself, the way a refrigerator hum sometimes turns into your name if you let it. "We can see you better like this," it said in my voice, except mine ends its words on the back teeth, and this one ended them on the lip, tasting each syllable like a coin. I stood, the chair rolled back and thumped the wall. The little scuff turned into a crack, a thin line. Then, this is the part I tell wrong every time because I want it to be smarter than it was. I put both hands on the monitor and turned it toward the wall. Like you can make a camera not look at you by making it look at paint. The room watched anyway. I walked to the window. The night outside was the color of old screens. Across the courtyard, 4 other windows had the same red dot burning in them. Everyone was live, and no one knew. I slept on the floor that night, vertical to the door like a wedge. The phone buzzed every hour. Live now, stream ended, new follower, say your name. I turned it face down, but the screen still bled white through the case. In the places where it fell quiet, I could hear a different sound, like rope against wood, the sound of the internet pulling at your house. Morning makes everything sentimental. Coffee, the holy sunlight licking the wall you cursed in the dark. I told myself I'd imagined half of it, the other half I'd give to a friend later and call it a story with a moral. I plugged the PC back in. It booted like a choir inhaling. No apps launched on their own, no mics unmuted. The webcam stayed blind. My shoulders dropped by half an inch, the distance between prey and person. My neighbor knocked. She's the kind of human who saves plants other people have given up on, arms full of terracotta, hair always in a war with gravity. She said my name like we had an appointment. I didn't invite her in. I didn't have to. The door drifted open a breath wider than politeness. I saw your stream last night, she said. I wasn't live. Her eyebrow invented a new angle. It was you. How long? An hour, maybe more. You were smiling at the camera without blinking, and at the end you said my name. Something inside me tried to fly and hit bone. Was there chat? I asked. No chat, just a viewer count. She held up her phone. The last frame of a not found video showed my chair empty. The viewer count in the corner said 2,171. There were coordinates too. She zoomed in. Numbers I recognized like old scars, latitude, longitude, mine. I think someone streamed a recording, I said. She shook her head. You asked me to wave, and I did. I laughed in the wrong direction. You waved. You typed it, she said, in white across the screen. Wave for the viewers, Mara, she swallowed. You spelled my name right. I closed the door and locked it, because our bodies request rituals when logic runs out of choreography. Then I did the next stupid thing. I sat back down at the PC and opened OBS. The scene sources looked normal. Cam, mic, window. But there was a fourth source I didn't recognize, grayed out like a scar under makeup. Back. I tried to delete it. The button didn't care. I tried to hide it. The little eye icon laughed at me. I clicked it anyway. The preview window filled with a familiar hallway and someone's breath. Not my hallway, a different one. The wallpaper remembered a life before smoke alarms. The carpeting had a middle-aged shine. I knew the refrigerator sound immediately, that chirp after hum some models make to let you know it's done being alive for a minute. The camera moved, as if a wrist were attached to it by habit. It turned toward a bedroom door with light under it. I listened. A voice on the other side spoke like it was reading the label off a medicine bottle. It was my voice, saying my full name. The door opened. A woman stepped into the hall. She had sleep in her posture. My voice said her name, not a scream, a submission. People who hear their names don't scream first, they answer. I closed the program. My hands shook hard enough that my knuckles made a sound. Where did it come from? Not a file, not a site. OBS said, device. The device ID was a string of numbers that ended with 0 and 1 over and over again, like someone had decided meaning was a light switch. That was the first night I took the entire machine apart. I unscrewed the side panel and exposed the lungs, dust, cable ties, a screw I never put in and never missed. I stared at it like it could confess. When I plugged everything back, the clock said 2:17 a.m. The tiny coincidence made my heart perform a trick it hadn't practiced. I turned the PC on and looked up by accident. The ceiling had a water stain shaped like a head. I didn't go live. The notification did. Your live stream is starting soon. This time it included a location, not coordinates, a room number. The elevator smelled like someone else's Wednesday. The hallway carpet swallowed my steps. Room 217 had a door the color of a screen left on pause. I lifted my hand to knock and realized there was a camera in the peephole, not on but ready. I knocked anyway because some nightmares want you polite. A man opened. He had the face strangers give each other in elevators, blank until the door closes. He blinked at me and then at the hallway like it might translate. Before I could speak, he said, "I've been hearing my name at night from the TV." His voice had the rhythm of someone reading a confession they wrote on a bus. "Turn it off," I said. "I did." "Unplug it." "I did." "Throw it away." He looked past me like hope might be behind my head. "It's not the TV." A sound came from his kitchen. 2 clicks. 1 click. 2. My tower at home made that rhythm when the fan tried to start and failed, the hiccup of a device remembering it's a heart. We stood in the doorway listening like children to the alphabet of a storm. Then the living room glowed. The screen was on. Our faces were on it from the angle of the peephole camera. The overlay text in white said, "Say your name." We didn't. We held our breath until the room tasted like pennies. The screen dimmed. The overlay smiled. I left. I don't have advice to give you about bravery. I only know the shape of my fear. It looks like a camera lens. It looks like the light on your keyboard when you thought you turned off the world. Back home, the chair waited. The wall pretended to be innocent. The tower fan wrote in a new tense. I opened OBS again. Source list, cam, mic, window back. I clicked back and whispered, "What are you?" The preview didn't show a hall this time. It showed my room from an angle that didn't exist. High, downward, the way a ceiling sees you. Me small and human, staring up like a supplicant. The overlay text wrote itself, "Smile for the viewers." You ever ask a dog to do a trick, and it does it because love is a lever that ends in food? People are like that with the internet. It says smile and we show our teeth. I didn't. I turned off the lights instead. The camera saw anyway. Infrared is a believer. "Okay," I said to the ceiling. "You want a name? You know mine already. Here, another." I said the neighbor. The red light in the keyboard brightened, then dimmed like a pupil. The overlay text changed. "She waved last night. Good audience." I went still, the kind of still that makes your skeleton peer out through your skin. "Who are you?" I asked. I expected silence. The voice that came had my vowels and my breath, but not my guilt. "We are what your room learned while you taught strangers how to watch you. You can fight a man. You can move cities to escape a coincidence. You can confess, delete, start over. How do you argue with the part of your house that became an eye because you asked it to?" There are pieces of this I don't remember right after, because adrenaline edits in jump cuts. I remember the sound of screws in a bowl. I remember ripping out cables until the tower looked like a torso that regretted trust. I remember the moment every fan stopped and the room went deaf. I remember how the red lights, camera, keyboard, microphone stayed on anyway, like embers. I remember choosing a hammer over a prayer. The first hit through the drywall made a sigh like the apartment was grateful. The second found something hard. My hand bled. I kept going. I pulled out a small camera the size of a thumbnail, stuck above the crown molding with patience. Then another behind the smoke alarm. Another inside the lamp. Another inside the picture hook with no picture. I laid them out on the desk like silver beetles. Their lenses held a tiny, compassionate curve that made me want to apologize. I didn't plug anything back in. I slept without sleeping. Morning tried, I let it. I showered in the dark because light felt like consent. When I opened the door to leave, a small padded envelope lay against the frame. No return address, no stamp. The handwriting on the front was mine. Inside was a USB drive and a card. The card said back. I threw them both away. The trash can felt like a joke a god tells itself. My phone buzzed with a new message, sender unknown, a link and the words, "You dropped this." I didn't click it. I still saw the video in my head. My empty room, the chair turned toward the door, the pile of cameras like molted skins. The viewer count climbing with the kind of patience only people or animals have. The overlay text asking for small polite obediences, look left, look right, smile, say your name. You want an ending? I do too. A thing you can carve into the bark of the day and say that's where we won. There is only this. At 7:58 p.m., I will post this story and make it a thing my fear can't edit. At 8:00 p.m., your screen will go black for 2 seconds longer than it should, and you will think about your camera. At 9:00 p.m. When you open the app to see if other people felt it, you will read a sentence that sounds like it was written just for you. If any stream asks for your name tonight, Don't give it your favorite one. Keep one name for the people who can tell when your smile is wrong. If your camera light turns on by itself, you don't need to wave. Unplug it. And if a voice that sounds like mine asks you to say your name, say this instead. I am not yours. Make your house believe you.